There is a scene that most fans walked past without realizing the sheer absurdity. In the Hachinosu arc, a single strike from Koby tore the sky, shook the island, and left veterans wide-eyed. A boy who cried in fear in Alvida's presence destroyed a whole island with a shout. And then the question came from a subscriber of this channel, right? But just how much of Koby's new strength would be enough to defeat the villains Luffy already faced? And here I want to give my thanks to Louise, because this video topic is really interesting and I hadn't thought about it before. And answering the question, the answer will leave you completely floored. There is a villain here that current Koby liquidates in 3 seconds without breaking a sweat, but there is one who represents his real limit, the exact point where the marine hero has not arrived yet. And knowing what this limit is says a lot more about Koby's future than just any easy victory out there. Let's start from the beginning, right? Before any comparison, it must be clear what Koby is today, because many people still have in mind that image of the chubby boy crying in front of Luffy back in episode number 1. That was over 1,000 episodes ago, my dear brother. The character went through an evolution that few in the series could ever replicate. In less screen time, the honesty impact that he used in Hachinosu wasn't just a powerful strike, it was a massive declaration of power. That attack combined advanced armament, haki, internal energy emission, and a concentration of strength that visually was put in the very same frame of commander techniques, right? Oda doesn't do this by accident at all, my brother. Every time the mangaka puts 2 powers in the same framing, he's saying something to the reader. Besides that, Koby masters Rokushiki at a high level, Soru and Geppo, all with overlapping haki. This means speed and reaction above most of the humans in the One Piece universe, physical resistance that goes beyond a normal body, and aerial mobility that few can actually follow too. The current diagnosis, Koby is at the lower edge of the Yonko commander level, attack power of a really strong commander like Jack, or even like Cracker, stamina and experience of someone who is still climbing up. This distinction is going to be important very soon. Pay close attention starting with the villains from the East Blue, Buggy, Kuro, Don Krieg, Arlong. These 4 faced pre-Gears Luffy before any haki, before any serious training at all. And look, Luffy from this period was overpowered due to the fruit's elasticity, but technically primitive, okay? Today's Koby against absolutely any of them, the Soru alone would already be way too fast for any of them to see. Before Arlong could process that the attack came, the honesty impact would have pierced him a long time ago, my comrade. Before Don Krieg could activate any armor, Koby's armament haki dissolves the metal as if it was just plain paper. Buggy is especially tragic in this whole math. Without the fruit, he would just be a clown with good fame. With the fruit, the intangibility does not work against haki. That is, at least in theory, right? Because what is heavily discussed is that in reality, Buggy's fruit is not actually a logia. In other words, different from logia users, like Smoker or Ace, Buggy doesn't transform into a pure element. Armament Haki allows you to touch the real body of the Devil Fruit user, but Buggy's body is already separated, meaning he has immunity to cuts with Haki. At least, that is what everyone mostly believes. Even with Armament Haki, a cut will not wound Buggy, because his ability is exactly to dismember himself before the damage occurs. But Buggy can definitely be hurt with physical impacts that are not cuts like punches or kicks, with or without Haki, since he is still a solid human being. What is widely known is that Buggy does an automatic division, that his ability acts almost like a simply automatic defense, even against strong swordsmen, which makes cutting even with Haki completely inefficient in this case. However, even so, Koby would absolutely crush him. End of story. Now moving up a bit, Crocodile from Alabasta, Rob Lucci from Enies Lobby, Gecko Moria to Hody Jones. These are villains that at the exact moment they were defeated represented the absolute ceiling Luffy could face. But, pay attention, the Luffy who beat Crocodile still did not have a conscious Haki. What took Crocodile down was just creativity and not raw power. The Luffy who beat Lucci was at the limit of his life after a whole journey, while what took down Moria was a massive fusion of shadows from the whole crew. Koby does not need any of this. A logia-type fruit, exactly like Crocodile's, is automatically nullified by the Armament Haki. Alabaster's Crocodile, the strongest we've ever seen of him before the time skip, would take a direct honesty impact from the sand, and the sand wouldn't help at all. Lucci with the Rokuogan and advanced martial arts would be tougher, but Koby's speed completely surpasses what the Enies Lobby Lucci could ever track. The fight would end in less than 2 minutes. Hody Jones with steroids is way more dangerous in water than on dry land. But on land, Koby's Haki turns the extra durability of a fishman into absolutely zero advantage. A clean victory, and then we easily reach the cases that get much more interesting. In fact, this is where things start to get really serious, for real. Enel, the guy who almost killed Luffy multiple times in Skypiea and only didn't kill him because rubber conducts electricity poorly, okay? His mantra, which is basically observation haki at a high level, lets him detect everything approaching. The lightning bolts aren't just powerful, they are instantaneous. And the intangibility of the Goro Goro fruit works against normal physical strikes. But with Geppo and Soru combined, Koby achieves a tri-dimensional mobility that Skypiea Luffy never had. He can change angles right in the middle of the air, which makes it much harder for Enel's mantra to predict the exact strike. And Koby's armament, Haki, completely dissolves the annoying intangibility. Enel's absolute fastest lightning bolt still needs proper aim. Koby manages to make this hard enough to easily open a gap, and honestly, a single gap is all he really needs to end the fight. It would be a tough fight, it wouldn't be easy, but Koby wins. That's clear. Caesar Clown is the weirdest fight on this entire list, right? Technically, Caesar has little attack power compared to others from the same period, but the poisonous gas represents a problem of a totally different nature. It is not about being strong, it's about not breathing. In an open field, Koby can use his speed to escape the gas radius and use powerful impact attacks from a safe distance. Exactly what the honesty impact is, right? Without needing to even touch Caesar. The attack simply pierces the gas and hits the villain's body. Victory, but with a big situational asterisk. And now the conversation gets really serious. We are talking about Magellan. This is the name that divides opinions when the subject is if Koby could. Physically, Koby probably surpasses Magellan in pure speed and pinpoint striking power. The honesty impact can be fired from a distance, and this is the key. Because the fight against Magellan has a variable that no other has. There's a single touch of his poison, and it's over. Regardless of how much Haki you have, it's not about resistance, it's about physiological toxicity. Koby's victory against Magellan would depend entirely on never being touched. A long-distance combat, using all the Rokushiki mobility, firing the honesty impact in waves until taking down the warden. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Is it guaranteed? Absolutely not at all. Okay? You know why? Let me tell you. Any positioning mistake, any moment of hesitation, and the fight ends in the wrong way. My bro. But the biggest dividing line of the list is another. It is Donquixote Doflamingo. This character is too damn good. For me, he's one of the best. Okay? This is the exact point where Koby clearly meets his current ceiling right now. Doffy has the flight with the strings, which completely eliminates Koby's aerial mobility advantage, even though Koby is very fast too, right? The awakening of the Ito Ito fruit transforms the entire environment into a massive string cage that cuts Haki. The bird cage alone is already a massive battle management problem that goes way beyond just raw power. And on top of all of this, Doflamingo has the Conqueror's Haki too. The honesty impact would cause serious damage to Doffy, there is no doubt. But Doflamingo is the type of villain who really knows how to manage exhaustion. He wouldn't need to win quickly, he would just need the opponent to make mistakes. And in a long fight, Doffy's massive experience and field control with the strings start to heavily isolate Koby, limit his attack angles, and force multiple errors in timing. The probability heavily points towards a tough defeat for the marine hero, unfortunately. And what exactly does this say about Koby's bright future? And then we arrive at the names that are simply beyond: Katakuri and Kaido. Katakuri with heavily advanced observation, Haki. Bro, This is way too overpowered. This means that the Honesty impact would be deflected before it was even fired. The awakened Mochi deeply traps and absorbs, and Katakuri has an absolutely brutal stamina. Koby still doesn't have any tool yet to easily bypass the Future Sight without actually having the Future Sight himself. Kaido, a Thunder Bagua, and the whole conversation ends. Koby doesn't have Advanced Conqueror's Haki coated on his body to absorb Yonko strikes without being erased. But here is what really truly matters right now. Koby's absolute limit today is strictly Donquixote Doflamingo. And remember where Luffy was when he faced Doflamingo for the first time with the newly developed Gear 4th too. Coming out of 2 years of training with Rayleigh, at the peak of pre-New World prep, Koby reached this level without a time skip, without 2 years of isolation, evolving in the field, on real missions, with the world in flames around him. This is not a ceiling. This is just a starting line. But come here, if you are enjoying this power analysis, drop a like right now, because the channel is growing with this kind of deepened content. Every like helps the algorithm to show this to more One Piece fans who deserve to see this level of analysis too, my dear brother. And of course, if you can, subscribe to the channel. It will help a lot, my comrade. But let's go. Let's jump straight to the final verdict, level by level. To easily wrap it up, here is the truth table. No stalling. Villains like Buggy, Kuro, Don Krieg, Arlong, they will lose in mere seconds, and of course, effortlessly for Koby. Now Alabaster's Crocodile, Lucci, Eni's Lobby, Moria, Hody, it is a clear victory with just some situational pressure. Enel and Caesar is also a victory, but with variables that require caution, because these guys are truly strong, my brother. Magellan is a possible victory, but it has a high risk too, because it's truly not guaranteed. Against Doflamingo, probably our little Koby would eventually lose, okay? In his current state, of course, we have huge margin for Koby's evolution. Now against Katakuri, bro, I think it is defeat, right? Against Kaido, there's also no way at all. But what this map shows is way more interesting than just any isolated victory. It shows that Koby is 2 or 3 evolutionary leaps away from becoming one of the biggest marine threats this story has ever had. And if Oda is actually accelerating his development in this way, something huge is rapidly arriving. The real question is no longer if Koby will simply be strong enough. The big question is exactly what will he use this for? If you want to see what Koby's ceiling would be, if he unlocks the Conqueror's Haki completely, maybe I can approach this in the next video. Deal, my dear comrade? It was very good having your company here. Thank you very much. If you can, subscribe to the channel. Drop a like there because that helps too much. And of course, go to the first pinned comment there. I'll leave a comment asking you guys to leave your own video recommendations. It's helping me a lot. Well, thanks.